Peace. This is Wise for Wise Words Media back at y'all for another round. And major breaking news just in. Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford have agreed to terms for a fight scheduled September of this year, 2025. And this, it's been mulled over for a couple years already. We've been hearing rumblings that Crawford, wants to fight and Canelo's considering it. But now it seems like they have agreed to terms, meaning that everything contractually presented to Terence Crawford has agreed to, and everything contractually presented to Canelo Alvarez has agreed to. So both sides are in agreement. That's what agreed to terms mean. So it pretty much means that they're saying yes, they're willing to fight one another in September of this year, 2025. As you guys who've been following my page for the past couple years that it's been up, the way I felt about this fight before is the way that I continue to feel about this fight. I feel like, and you'll hear me say it tons and tons of times on my page, there's weight classes for a reason. I don't like when people go up multiple weight classes. It usually does not end well for the person in the lower weight class. We've seen various examples of this lately. Demetrius Andrade, technically a smaller fighter, moved up for Benavidez. It didn't look good. As much pop as Andrade had in the lower weight classes, when he moved up and fought David Benavidez was just eating his shots. Andrade even said it in an interview himself. He said, I was hitting him with my best shots, and when I seen him just look at me, I was like, oh boy. You saw it with Jamel Crawford and one Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez, Charlo fought Canelo Alvarez, and Charlo, we've never seen Charlo gun shy ever. And he's been asking for the Canelo fight for years. But Charlo has remained at 154. Canelo has gone up like 3 times. So when they finally got in the ring together, Charlo said it after the fight, he's much bigger than I thought he was. And you saw it in Charlo, he was gun shy. I don't like these fights when people go up multiple weight classes. I know it's exciting because it's 2 big names. It's the 2 biggest names in boxing. The 2 biggest names. So it's going to be a major event. It's going to be an event. It's going to sell. It might break records. It's going to be a big event. But as far as fights, I like fights like Benavidez versus David Morrell. 2 guys that are in the same weight class, at the top of the weight class, going at each other. I like fights like that, like Bivol versus Beterbiev. Fights like that. Fights where guys are in the same weight class. Not a Terence Crawford that just moved up to 154 pounds. When Canelo left 154 pounds 10 years ago. It doesn't make sense. Canelo Alvarez right now is a 168-pound fighter, which is super middleweight. That's where he holds his titles. However, he's known to walk around. His walk-around weight is close to 200 pounds. He walks around at like 190. So he really walks around at a light heavyweight, at a cruiserweight level. He walks around. And Terence Crawford, he might go up to 160 before a fight, 165. But when they're both in walk-around weights, Canelo's still like 30 pounds bigger. And that stuff is going to show the night of the fight, man. Y'all could be hype all y'all want for this. I'm excited as a fight fan, just for fight night, like the atmosphere, just the fact that it's a big event. But when this thing plays out, I just see I don't see a scenario where Terence Crawford can beat Canelo Alvarez. Only if this was any other fighter and Crawford's moving up, I say maybe, because Crawford has the skill. But the thing with Crawford is he likes to stand toe to toe. He likes to stand toe to toe, and he's not going to be able to do that with Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is too big. He fights 2 weight classes. Terence Crawford just moved up to 154. Canelo Alvarez is at 168. You know, so that's 2 weight classes north. You know, Terence Crawford fights at junior middleweight. Canelo Alvarez fights at super middleweight and has fought at light heavyweight, which is 175, and he looked comfortable there. So I'm not, you know, I hate to be the rain on this parade, but I don't really see this as, I mean, it's a big attraction. It's going to be a huge event, but the fight itself, I don't see it being, you know, I don't see a scenario where Terence Crawford could win, because Canelo Alvarez is just too big. And not only that, but Canelo Alvarez can take a shot. We're talking about a prime Triple G could not knock out Canelo Alvarez. And he caught him with some mean shots, flush shots, right on the jaw. And Canelo just took him. You know, Dimitri Bivol, a light heavyweight, was catching Canelo flush, boom, 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 boom. He couldn't even drop Canelo. So what is a 154-pound fighter going to do to a guy that walks around close to 200 pounds and fights at 168? A 154-pound fighter, I don't care how talented that fighter is, he's not going to knock him out. Why you think Floyd Mayweather didn't fight Golovkin? Golovkin was too big. It made no sense. Floyd Mayweather is a smart man. He's a businessman. He knows. And credit to him, because there's weight classes for a reason. He's not supposed to go up there. He can if he wants to, but why? It makes no sense. That guy is bigger. He's supposed to win. And that's how I feel with this fight. I feel, you know, all I'm saying is going to be a fun night. You know, we all going to be excited to watch this fight. But, you know, I think the hype for me personally is going to be more about the event, the night. You know, the 2 big names getting together is going to be a spectacle. I'm more hype about that. The fight itself, like I've been telling y'all for years, I don't care for it. I've been telling y'all for a long time. And when this fight plays out in September, we can revisit this conversation. And, you know, you could point out if I'm wrong. If Crawford wins, you could reference this video and be like, I was wrong. But those of y'all that want to have that build come September, feel free to reference this video. Win, lose, or draw for each man. Come back and reference this video, because I'm telling you, I see the outcome now. Canelo Alvarez is just going to be too big. Crawford is going to try to hit him with his best shots to try to get some respect from Canelo. But Canelo's too big, and Canelo has a chin. Canelo's going to eat that stuff and walk right through him. And then when he starts hitting the body and starts hitting, I don't think this is going to end well. But that's me. Say you. Drop some bars. Let me know how y'all feel about this fight. I'm Waz for Waz Words Media. Peace.